The latest petition for freedom from jailed Catalan leaders has been denied. This on the same day that some of them brought their case to the United Nations. Hello, and welcome to Catalan News. Joaquim Forn, Dolors Bassa, Raul, Romeva and Josep Rull, all former ministers of the Catalan government accused of rebellion and held in pretrial jail. Their defense is now bringing their case to the United Nations Working Group on Arbitrary Detention, the latest move in their international strategy led by lawyer Ben Emmerson. And in the same 24 hours, the Supreme Court denied their freedom and that of 5 of their colleagues also in jail. Meanwhile, in Barcelona, taxis protested en masse against a court decision that they claim puts their jobs in danger. We'll bring you all the details on this conflict, which blocked one of the city's main avenues for hours. 9 Catalan leaders remain in jail while awaiting trial for rebellion, and some of them have been in prison for more than 9 months. While Germany rejected extraditing former President Carles Puigdemont for the same charges for which they are imprisoned, some hoped that this could have some effect on their case at the Spanish level. Yet, as the Supreme Court's latest decision shows, it didn't.
6 former ministers, the former Parliament Speaker and 2 grassroots activists. Held in preventive jail for months, they had hoped they would be allowed to leave prison while preparations for their trial go ahead. All their requests for release to date have been turned down. This time, though, they thought they had a chance, after the German judiciary rejected the extradition of former President Carles Puigdemont for rebellion, a decision that prompted Spain's Supreme Court to withdraw all extradition orders for pro-independence leaders abroad. Those jailed in Spain hoped that Puigdemont's case would have a positive impact for them, as they were all facing the same charges. But the Supreme Court's response, out today, was clear. The offences for which they're in jail are extremely severe, and with the trial due to start within months, they pose too great a flight risk. Their colleagues in Catalonia highlighted what they see as an unfair paradox.
Catalunya està patint en un moment d'una extrema gravetat política, quan veiem que a Europa els nostres companys són lliures i, en canvi, a l'estat espanyol són tancats en una presó.
This time, the Supreme Court decision did not depend on Pablo Llarena, the judge who led the investigation phase. Rather, it was up to the judges who will oversee the upcoming trial. Yet so far they followed the same criteria as Judge Llarena. But the jail leaders' call for freedom goes beyond Spanish borders. The international defense team led by lawyer Ben Emmerson is taking to the United Nations the case of 4 former ministers, Joaquim Forn, Raul Romeva, Josep Rull and Dolors Bassa. This can be added to the lawsuit he filed for the former vice president and 2 activists, all arguing that their pre-trial detention violates their human rights.
The Working Group on Arbitrary Detention is an independent body that reports to the United Nations Human Rights Committee. Lawyer Ben Emmerson warns that international justice is not fast. But he told Catalan News that he's urging group members to fast-track the case.
And I have personally written to the members of the working group asking them to take these cases out of the regular time slots, which can be quite slow, and to put them into a fast-tracked, accelerated procedure. The working group is meeting in August. I very much hope we'll see some real progress soon, because in light of the German decision, it's impossible, frankly, to expect anything other than a finding by the working group that all of the political prisoners are being arbitrarily, that is unlawfully, detained.
Today, a 48-hour strike by taxi drivers against car-hailing services came to an end. But this didn't last long, as a new court decision prompted taxi drivers to take again to the streets. The consequences were felt at the very heart of the Catalan capital.
With a fleet 10,000 strong, the bargaining power held by taxis in the Barcelona area should not be underestimated. Even a small fraction of them, if well organized, are enough to shut down the city center of the Catalan capital. And just as they show today, they can call a massive protest in a matter of hours. We are at the crossroads between Passeig de Gràcia and Gran Via de les Corts Catalanes, one of the busiest streets and one of the busiest spots in Barcelona. As you can see right now, it's completely flooded, it's completely blocked by taxis. They are protesting, they are going on strike against car-hailing services, which they claim put in danger their jobs. They just ended today actually a 48-hour strike that was called to protest the suspension of local regulation that protected the taxis, because it limited the amount of licenses that the governments and the administration could give to car-hailing services such as Uber or Cabify. But a court decided today to maintain the suspension, and they decided to go on strike again. And they also warned that whatever happens during this time, during the time the strike lasts, they take no responsibility for it, and they blame the Spanish government. The most recent strike was marked by the attacks suffered by Cabify and Uber vehicles. The two companies even suspended their services in Barcelona and did not resume them until today, hoping that protests from taxi drivers were over. The mayor of Barcelona, Ada Colau, called an emergency meeting with union leaders to address the crisis caused by the latest judicial decision.
Y al sector, pues nada, decirles que vamos a seguir luchando, que no vamos a bajar los brazos y que iremos hasta el final con esto.
Bueno, doncs és molt mala notícia que no hi hagi aquest aixecament de la mesura cautelar, perquè el que fa és allargar el conflicte de forma absolutament innecessària.
Local regulations protecting the taxi sector were suspended when the Spanish government challenged them in court. Now, the mayor reclaimed for the city council the powers it needs to regulate what vehicles can circulate in its streets.
Do you have any plans next weekend? Well, if you feel like listening to some jazz while sipping on wine in a beautiful setting, there's a festival coming up that might just be perfect for you. It's called Jazzibi, meaning jazz and wine, a day consecrated to the music and beverage in the west of Catalonia. It can be found in a town called Figuerola d'Orcau, and this 5th edition will feature wine from 8 cellars of the Pallars region. There will even be a cava cellar invited just for the occasion. And let's not forget the jazz, featuring names like Susanna Scheiman, Ashalda, and Mon Petit Mon. And with this, we come to the end of our show. But before we go, we want to talk about efforts from people in Delta del Ebre, southern Catalonia, to combat one of the consequences of climate change, the salinization of rice fields. Thanks to bioengineering, they've modified the chromosomes of some rice species to make them more resistant to salty environments, something which, in turn, could also help face the plague of snails that the Delta has suffered for years. Take a look, and see you next week.